Hi everyone, welcome to episode 1 of the Oceanic Dyeworks Knitting Podcast. My name is Troy, I'm the owner and dyer behind Oceanic Dyeworks. Today I wanted to try my hand at filming my own knitting podcast. I've been a fan of so many over the years, and it's something that I've wanted to try out for myself, and I decided not to wait any longer, so yeah. Hopefully you'll enjoy following along with me as I show off some of my knitting, some of the things I'm working on. I'll show off some of the yarn that I have available in my shop towards the end if you care. So let's take this journey together. I live in Halifax, Nova Scotia, which is a beautiful coastal city, and I absolutely love it. I've always been fascinated by the ocean. I moved out here to study marine biology. When it came time to name my business, I had no second thoughts about naming it after the ocean. Two of my favorite things combined, what can go wrong? Let's just dive right in, no pun intended, to my finished objects. The first one that I have here is the Flax Light Sweater by Tin Can Knits. I will link everything down in the description below the video once I figure out how to do that. So if there's something that you see that you like, you can just click the link and it'll take you right to the page for that. So this is a super fun, basic raglan sweater. You can see like the raglan increase, I've lost it right there. It's a really nice sweater. The pattern is really well written for beginners, so it walks you through every step, tells you how to find the size that you want to knit, and it's a great pattern. I would highly recommend it. And it has this really fun detail on the sleeve, so it runs all the way down from the neck of the sweater all the way down the sleeve, and it meets up with the ribbing there. So it's just a fun little garter panel. Adds a little bit of interest, both visually, texturally, and when you're knitting, it kind of breaks up the rounds, so then it's not quite as monotonous. I really loved knitting this sweater. I would probably knit like 4 more. I just need to pick out the yarn for it. I knitted this one in Grenouille Co. yarn. It's an 85% merino, 15% nylon fingering weight yarn. It's extremely soft. I would knit every single garment in this if I could, winter accessories would be really nice. This is the Neptune colorway. It's like a really gorgeous like sea foam green kind of, but it's got these like beige and like tan undertones to it, and every so often there's like a speckle of like maroon, so it's gorgeous. I absolutely love it. This was one of my most recent finished objects. I wear it all the time, not so much now that it's summer, but in like the fall and spring it's a really great sweater. Moving on to sweater number 2. I'm a huge sweater knitter. I like the process. I like having the finished garment at the end. And it's the thing that I find most practical for my lifestyle. I don't wear a lot of hats. And I'm not a huge fan of knitted socks. Maybe I'm doing them wrong. Who knows? But this is the So Basic Sweater by Max the Knitter. It's another top-down raglan sweater, again with a cool sleeve detail to make it a little bit more interesting. This one has these like lines. You can see them kind of down the sleeve there. Every few rows you just do a purl stitch and it makes a line that travels all the way down the sweater. You can't really see it when the sweater is fully relaxed, but once you stretch it out a little bit, you can kind of see a little bit of detail, so when you're actually wearing it, the ridges spread open a little bit and you can see it. Super easy to knit as well. The pattern's really well written again. Definitely good for a beginner sweater knitter. I knit this one in Sweet Georgia Tough Love Sock in the marine colorway. I think we're sensing a theme with the blues and the ocean themed names. But this is like just a beautiful like dark kind of tonal blue. There's like lighter spots to the colorway, but overall reads like a dark, almost navy blue. I really like it. Again, like a great spring or fall sweater. This one's a little oversized. It was one of the first sweaters that I knit, and I didn't really understand how I liked my sweaters to fit or anything about like gauge or sizing in that. So turned it a little big. I'm not mad. If I really cared, I might go back and shorten it later, but overall it's a great sweater. It's super comfy. I really love it. And then the last two finished objects I have for today are a pair of things. So I'll show the first one. This one again is by Max the Knitter. This is the active duty sweater. So it is another top-down raglan sweater. This one has an all-over colorwork pattern. You guys might be familiar with it. It's super fun. You can see like the black and the blue. It just makes this cool camo motif. There's patches of like solid black and solid blue, and then there's spots where you alternate blue and black, so then it makes kind of like a less saturated, I guess, motif on it. This one I knit as a test knit when the pattern was going through the motions of being released. I had a lot of fun. I will say this was probably the most ambitious thing that I've ever knitted. I had to learn really quick how to handle holding yarn in each finger because you're always using your main color and your contrast color. I had a little bit of issues with with my tension when I was knitting, so it came out a little snugger than I was hoping. But again, it's a really great sweater. I would definitely kind of recommend this more for like an intermediate knitter, just because of all the color work. It can be hard to manage, but if you're feeling really ambitious, like go for it. I knit this in Dyed by Dells yarn. So Vincent is Max's partner. They're an incredible duo, just dyeing up yarn and designing all of these incredible patterns. So I've been following them for a really long time. These are knit in the Twist DK. So the main color was the black, which was Black Rose, named after Schitt's Creek. And then the blue is called Harry's Suit. And I don't think that Harry's Suit is in production anymore. I haven't been able to find it on their website recently. But they have lots of other colors. They came out with kits when the pattern first released. So that was a really fun one. I really enjoyed it. And then its partner in crime is the active duty cowl. So this was designed after the sweater as a way to use up like the leftover yarn that was left when you finished knitting the sweater. It's just a simple cowl. It's like a I don't know what a trapezoid, I guess, is the shape, maybe. So it's wider on the bottom than it is on the top. There's the same kind of colorwork motif on the front of the cowl as in the sweater. There's a really cool kind of like garter. I don't even know if you would call it garter, but this cool like texture along the side. There's one on this side and one on that as well. And then the back, you just alternate between blue and black stitches, and it creates this just fun text, fun motif, I guess. This would be a good introduction if you were kind of thinking of knitting the active duty sweater, but you were kind of apprehensive about it, or you weren't sure if you were going to be able to do it. You could knit the cowl to get the feel for the color work, and also you can use it as a gauge swatch, since it doesn't really matter how big this turns out. So that would be a good thing if you're kind of interested in knitting the sweater, but you're not sure if you can, if you're brave enough for it, I guess. Yeah, so that's all I have for finished objects. We can talk about some of the things that I'm working on. Right now, I'm splitting my time up between 2 blankets, which I don't know why I ever thought that knitting 2 blankets at the same time would be a good idea, but here we are. So the first one that I will show you is one that I'm like actively working on, so I have to be careful that the stitches don't fall off the needles. But this is the next in line blanket, and it is a really fun garter stitch blanket, and it's worked in blocks. I'll try and find a good example here. Yeah, so you can see, like, you know, it's pretty color blocked. We'll look at this like gray section. This was the one. Like this section here was the one I have recently just finished knitting. So it's knit using 2 colors. You always have a main color, and then your contrast color always appears as a set of stripes. And then whatever contrast color you used in one block is the main color that you're going to use for your next block. So that's why it's called the next in line blanket. Afghan, I guess. It's a really fun pattern, and because it's in sections, you can just work on one section at a time, and it doesn't feel like you're knitting a whole blanket. And you bind off after every section, so if you need to finish one and then take a break, you can totally do that. I am using, this pattern was written for worsted weight yarn, but I decided to go with a DK. So I'm using Drops Lima, which looks like this. I ordered this. I can't remember where I ordered it from, but I ordered it specifically for this blanket. I had to order like something crazy like 17 or 27 balls of yarn or something like that. But they're just like 50-gram balls of yarn. It's a 65% wool and 35% alpaca. So it's really soft. You can tell that it's like it has a little bit of I don't want to say toothiness because that makes it sound scratchy, but it feels natural. Again, very soft from the alpaca fur, but or fleece. Yeah, it's really great. So I'm knitting it. It takes 4 colors. So the first color that I'm using is this one here. So this is called Ice Blue. It's like a really pale blue. Kind of sometimes leans like periwinkle with like a hint of purple in it. This was the lightest color that I chose, and I chose this as color 1, which is the one that appears the most. So you need a lot of skeins of this one. So that's color 1. Again, that's Ice Blue. My color 2 is this gray color, and that is I can't remember the name. Something gray. I'll link it below. My third color here is like a darker blue. So this one is called Jean Blue. So, you know, kind of like denim. This is I use that as color 3. Color 2, 3, and 4, that you need the same amount of skeins. Use color 4 slightly less than the rest of them, but Still need the same amount. So this is color 4. It's called Sea Green. It's like this really cool, like gray, green, teal kind of color. And I kind of wanted to use it as sort of like a color pop, but still in the family of bluish colors. But yeah, so that's the next in line blanket. I'll hold it up again so you can get a little bit of a look at it. I am probably about 3/4 of the way through, but of course you're starting from the center and kind of working around and around. So each section just kind of gets bigger and bigger. So it's taking me longer to finish the sections, but yeah, having a lot of fun with it. It's a really fun pattern to knit. Again, it's nice because you can kind of break it up into sections as you need to. Yeah. So then the second blanket that I'm working on, this one kind of less so. I'm also farther along in it. But this is the Hue Shift Afghan by Knitpicks. So I'll kind of show it off here. It's this really cool, super colorful blanket. So you can kind of see there's like different panels. Yeah, so this one's kind of like all cool colors, and then this one is like, this one is kind of all like warm colors, and then they kind of mix in these other two sections here. Yeah, so this pattern you can buy like as a kit from Knitpicks. It comes with all of the yarn that you'll need. And it's knit in the Knitpicks Brava Sport, which is 100% acrylic yarn, but it's extremely soft. I really, really like it. It would be perfect to knit like baby blankets, because you can just throw them in the wash and don't have to worry about them. But this pattern is, it's a total of like 100 of these individual little kind of squares here, but you knit them in blocks of 25. So you'll start with one and knit up a row, and then you'll start back down and knit up until you have like a 5x5 section, and then you just like throw that off to the side and start a new one. And then once you have all 4 done, it gives you like a blueprint of what colors to use with what. And once you're done with the 4 sections, you seam the 4 of them together, just with like a simple mattress stitch, and then there's a gray color to go on the border. Yeah, so I picked, they have like 4 different colors of kits. There's rainbow, there's jewel, and then this one is called baby because it's all like pastel colors. And then there's another one called decor, I think, and that one's all like blues and grays and browns, and that one's really pretty, but they were sold out. But I'm a big fan of pastels, so yeah, I was super happy with this. It's taken me about a year to work on. And I've done one side of the garter stitch border, and then I just have to do the other 3 sides, and then I have to weave in this mess of ends on the back. So I might just like throw this off to the side, and one day I'll finish it. So that was the Hue Shift Afghan, just like my pile of blankets on the couch here. And then my last work in progress, I'm calling it a work in progress because I have like 1,000 ends to weave in, and I still have to block it, but all of the like knitting is done. This one was a really fun pattern to knit. It is let's get this right way here, the Slipstravaganza shawl by Stephen West. This was the first shawl that I ever knit, and it's also one of Stephen West's like mystery knit-alongs that he hosts in the fall. So this was during the month of October, and this one was a super fun pattern. I've never knitted a mystery knit-along before, so it was really fun to kind of follow along, except I don't really like surprises, so I was kind of antsy to see what was coming next. I actually didn't decide that I wanted to knit this until I saw the first 2 clues had been revealed already, and then I was like, kind of getting a feel for, what was going to be ahead of me, and then I decided to do it. But I think next year, or I guess this year, a few months from now, I suppose, I'm going to start right from the first clue, because it was really fun and I'd like to do it again. But yeah, so this is just a mix of slip stitch motifs. This like honeycomb section was the first section. I'm kind of late to the party talking about this, so you probably all know about it. But your main color throughout the whole shawl is the burgundy in my case, and then you kind of frame all of your contrast colors in it, and they kind of work together and against each other in the different patterns. So there's the honeycomb, and you're kind of striping 2 contrast colors together, and then I'm not really sure what you would call this section, but this was, I think, my favorite. It creates like a really cool fabric and motif, and then you just have these like really cool like diamond shapes here, which I thought was really fun. There's this section with all of the little they kind of remind me of like bow tie pastas there, and then there's the chevron border. Because I haven't blocked this, they're not quite in like points like they should be, but one day. And this was really exciting for another reason, because this was the first time I had knitted with any of my yarn. So 3 out of the 4 colors that I used were colors that I dyed. So we'll start with this like burgundy color that you can see all the way through. This was like a misfit skein of another colorway I was doing called Royal Blood, which is like this beautiful kind of burgundy and purple. I'll show it now, but I'll show it again later. So this is what it's supposed to look like. So you see like the burgundy and you see the purple. Really gives you the impression of royalty, like those rich, deep colors that they tend to wear. So this one just didn't get enough purple when I was dyeing it. So there's a little bit, but it's more just like burgundy. So I decided to steal that one for myself. The next color that I used, I'm trying to find like a good section here. You can kind of see it in this, the border here. So it's this purple color right here. This is called Wildflower. It's like a purple base, and then it's got these bright blue and pink speckles all over it. So I have an example here. So that's this guy. On camera, it looks a little more blue than in real life, but super pretty. I really like this. This is one of the first colorways that I dyed, and I had a lot of fun with it. I'm looking forward to kind of tweaking the recipe so it does read more purple. So that was my second color. My third color is this pink color here. So this is called Dusty Rose. It's a one-of-a-kind colorway. I used it, or I made it by dyeing with some leftover dye from a previous batch of yarn. I really want to try and recreate it, but I think I need to really sit down and brainstorm how I'm going to do that. But it's a really pretty, like, I guess Dusty Rose, as the name suggests, so that's that color. Coming up brighter than it is, coming up brighter on camera than it is in person. It definitely looks a little more, like, subdued, but that's a really good color. And then the fourth color I used, I didn't dye it. It's from To The Max Yarn Co. They're a really talented dyer, and it's this like pink, or I guess white with pink and blue like pastel sections. Oh god, not good with maneuvering the camera yet. Wonder if I have a better section that you can see. Yeah, that's kind of the best, where it's like on its own. You can see it. There's like the pinks and the blues, and it's white. So that color is called Trans Pride. It's a really beautiful color. Also really lovely. It's all the colors of the trans pride flag. Yeah, so I have another skein of it here. So you can see there's like those really beautiful, like just the pale blues and the pinks, and there's a lot of white space here, and I really, really like it. When I saw this colorway, I immediately put it in my cart and bought it. I bought 4 skeins because I was going to knit a sweater. And then when I was putting together the palette for this shawl, I decided that this would be better used in there. So I'll figure something else to knit this out of, but might even just keep it as a statement piece, I guess. But yeah, so that those are all my my works in progress. I don't know when I'm gonna get to blocking the shawl and then weaving in all of the ends. I'm pretty limited on space, so I need a good time to kind of just like spread it out so I can really get all of the dramatic the drama, I guess, out of the shawl. But yeah, so that's all of my works in progress. Don't really have any more knitting to show, but I can dive into showing you some of the yarn that I still have available in my shop. And then I have some colors that have never been seen before, which I can show off today. But I'm going to save those till the very end. So if you want to see them, you have to stick around. So I guess it's a little recap. I can show you this. So this is, again, Royal Blood. I think I have 1 or 2 of these left in the shop. Really beautiful, just purples and reds. I think there's also some pictures of this on my Instagram at Oceanic Dyeworks. So you can take a look at those. All of the yarn that I am about to show you, it's all fingering weight. It's a 3-ply construction, and it's 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. And then it's a little bit of a plumper yarn, so it's 385 meters or 420 yards per 115 grams. So the skein is heavier, but you're also getting less yardage. So it's a little plumper. I think it's like a heavier fingering weight, not quite a sport, but works beautifully into shawls and stuff. So again, Royal Blood, super pretty. Next, as a recap, I have Wildflower. Oh, that looks really good right there. So you can see the purple, you can see the pink speckles and the blue. The speckles are not super crisp, and I did that on purpose. So they're kind of more diluted on the skein, like they kind of, you don't have discrete spots where the dye hit. It's more, it kind of flowed around in the pot. I really like this. I would personally knit 100 sweaters out of this color. I think it's gorgeous. I think purple flatters a lot of people. So also I'm wearing purple right now. So yeah, Wildflower. I have 6, I think, of these, maybe 5 in the shop. So definitely enough to knit like some sizes of sweaters. I will definitely be dyeing more of this in the future. Maybe not right away, but keep an eye out for it. My next color is Blush. So this is a really pretty like pink tonal yarn. There's some white patches, like spots that didn't really catch the dye. Again, I did that on purpose. So this will have like a lot of different tones throughout. I have like 8 of these in the shop. They'd be great for a sweater. Would definitely recommend, though, alternating skeins when you knit with it, since there is so much difference between the pink and the white. You might get some funky pooling going on there, but really like this color as well. Yeah, that's blush. I already showed off the Dusty Rose. I only have 2 of these. So, you know, you could make a pair of socks, you could make a scarf, you could make a shawl if you use some other colors, depending on the size. Excuse me. Really great color. And then another one that I have here, it's called In the Trees. So it's like a green with blue speckles, and then there are a few spots where there's purple speckles. I really like this color. It's coming up a little more kind of on the blue side than green. Oh, that's better. Yeah, so you can see that. Yeah, so that's called In the Trees. I have like 4 or 5 of these maybe. Yeah. And then I have, this is a one-of-a-kind skein as well. So this one I just called Burgundy. This I used leftover dye from when I dyed Royal Blood. And then I think I added just like a little bit more kind of red. Yeah, so there's a little bit of variation in the color here, but I would call it a semi-solid, I guess. Yeah, so just a simple burgundy. There's only 1 of these. And then I also have, I think this is my last one of stuff that I currently have in the shop. This is called Inferno. This I was just having some fun with. I had some leftover dye, and then I also added some others. It's blowing out on camera a little bit, but it's it's like an orange and red and kind of with like peachy pink undertones to it on one end. This is a really bright color. If you like orange, you'll love this. I would use this as like a color pop in something. Stephen West Patterns, he always recommends like a color pop. He loves adding those into his palette, so you'll have, you know, like yellows or pinks or whatever, and then you have like a couple like really bright colors like that orange. Yeah, so those are all the colors that I have in my shop currently. There are a few that sold out, some of like the more blue leaning ones, but I really love those colors. So I'd really like to see them go to new homes and get knit up into fun things. So next, what I'm going to show you is the next colors of yarn that I've been working on. These are on two new bases actually. One of which is a 75-25 superwash merino nylon blend. Your typical 400 meters, 437 yards, fingering weight, of course. Yeah, so I'll just jump in. I have these 2 skeins. I have more of these, but these are 2 that I'm showing off. This color I'm calling Beach Glass. To me, it's very, it looks like all of those tones of the blue and the green, kind of different shades of beach glass that you can find. This was inspired by a trip I took with my partner to, we kind of explored Nova Scotia earlier in the spring, and we were walking along a beach, and I'm always fascinated. I always love picking up beach glass and collecting it. So this was something that I really wanted to create. So you can kind of see there's blues, there's more greens. This is a gorgeous colorway. I absolutely love it. I had to resist the urge to steal all of them to knit for myself. So that's on This is on the fingering weight base. So again, 75-25 merino nylon. And then I also dyed it up on a 100% superwash merino DK base. So this one, the blues strike a lot better on the DK base. So they do come a little bit brighter and more distinct. I don't know. Yeah, you can kind of see them there, as opposed to the fingering on the bottom here. The blues didn't really show up quite as well, which is fine. Super pretty color. I absolutely love this on both bases. I think it's gorgeous. I will probably be dyeing these like all summer. These will be like a core kind of summer color. They should be available in the shop by the time this goes up, but if not, I would check back in a couple days. And then I also have some, I think I had a mix-up here. Maybe not. This is another example. This one turned out like a little bit more blue. I also, when I was dyeing, I missed a step and I didn't dilute some of the dye. So I have this one, and it's got some really dark, like green colors in it. So I have 4 of these. Can't decide what to do with them. If you like this and you think that you'd like to knit something out of it, you can send me a DM on Instagram, or shoot me an email through the contact page on my website, which I guess I should plug. It's just oceanicdyeworks.com. You'll be able to find it. Just do a quick Google search or type in right into the box there, and I'll also link it below, obviously. But yeah, if this is something that you'd like to knit with, I have 4 of them. Not enough to make a sweater, but you could always pair it with one of the regular, like some of the regular ones, and then you could alternate them. You could create like a striped motif or something, make a shawl, make some hats for Christmas. Yeah, if that's something you would like, you can just contact me and I'd be happy to sell them to you. Probably at like a little bit of a discount since they're misfits. But yeah, so that's beach glass and its accompanying whatever. And then another color that I came up with, I have 4 of these next ones. These are a one-of-a-kind for sure. I don't think I'll ever be able to recreate them. But these came about by some leftover dye when I was like rinsing my tools from dyeing up beach glass. So it made this really pretty, it's like a gray. It looks more blue-gray on camera. There is definitely some very, like, some light hints of green. It almost reminds me of, like, mint chip ice cream almost, but, like, not quite as bright. So there's 4 of these. Also haven't decided what to do with these. Again, same idea. If it's something you would like to knit with, there's 4 of them. You can just let me know. I can make up an invoice for you. Yeah. So those are really pretty. Definitely some great winter hats, or really thick plush socks would be great as well. So this is, doesn't have a name. It is what it is. Another color that I have is this one here. It also doesn't have a name. I'm kind of leaning towards like Tutti Frutti, maybe, like those jelly beans, which are my favorite. Unpopular opinion, but they're delicious. These, I was trying out an idea that I had in my head, and it didn't quite work, so then I decided to have some fun with speckles. So there's blues and purples and pinks in here. You can kind of see them. They're very, very dilute. I was going for like a pastel kind of look, but it didn't come out the way I wanted it. So then I decided to speckle over it with, you can see there's some purple. I used like a teal color and then some yellow just for some interest. These, I did write down what I did so I could redo it. I haven't decided if I'm going to yet. so I have 4 of these again, and I'm kind of tempted to keep them and make a sweater, but I'd also be happy to sell them as well if somebody else wanted to go with these. I'd be totally happy to. Yeah, so that's called Tutti Frutti. And then my last colorway, which I didn't have like a super big plan in mind when I started dyeing this, but it turned out gorgeous. This is called, I actually don't have a name for it yet. I was kind of leaning towards something like maybe Tequila Sunrise or like, I don't know. But yeah, so there's like oranges, there's pinks, and like a nice deep red, and then there's speckles all through it of orange, or of yellow and pink. Yeah, you can see on that skein, you can see the speckles a lot more. I have 8 of these. I will be dyeing this on DK eventually. This colorway is very heavy on the pink dye, so I actually ran out. So I only have 8 of these at the moment. But they will be making a return someday soon. But yeah, that's all I have to show you. So if you stuck around this long, thank you. I'm really excited to be putting this out. I attempted to film this like 7 different times and just never turned out right. But this time I finally made it through to the very end. So yeah, thank you for joining me, and I'm not sure when I'll do a second episode. I guess it kind of depends on the feedback that I get. If people are liking what I've put out, then I'll definitely make a second episode. But yeah, so thanks once again. I'm Troy from Oceanic Dyeworks, and yeah, goodbye everybody.